And if you're spending money on packaging anyways, why not use it to your advantage? Use it as part of your marketing, that walking billboard, and use it to lean into that customer experience and those customer emotions that aid repeat customers.
Right.
And people sharing with their friends and family your business because of how your brand makes them feel.
Welcome to the Richer Retailer Podcast. Welcome back. Here is what I know about your store. You have spent months finding the right products, the right fixtures in your store, getting the right customers to come on. You've spent years doing that, right? You've nailed your buying. You're training your team. Your team is getting increasingly better all the time. And then one of your customers walks up to your register and buys a little something. You take care of her. Hey, so great to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. And she says, no, thank you. And you say, oh, my pleasure. And you hand her a bag, the one that you've always used, and she walks out. As she is walking out of the store, you suddenly see that bag in her hand. I want you to ask yourself, what is that bag saying about your brand? As this customer walks out that door of your store, what is the bag she's carrying say about your brand? What does it say about the world you've created in your store? Is it making her friends ask her about it? Oh my gosh, what did you buy? Is it giving her a reason to feel like your store is different from every other store up and down the street or from a big box? Or are you like, I know when I think about this now, like I did, are you like most retailers and are you leaving money on the table with that bag? Because here's the thing that nobody except Julie is going to tell you about this bag is that the packaging, the tissue paper, the way it feels in her hand when she opens it later at home, that is the last thing you get to say to that customer before they come back. I had never thought about it like that. That is the moment your brand becomes real. It doesn't matter what she does with that bag. It's the last chance you have to communicate something to them and for them to truly feel in a real physical way your brand. Julie Rotuno has made a whole business of that moment. And she's going to show you how you can own it in so many ways without breaking the bank. I am so happy to have you here, Julie. Gosh, and you literally were born into packaging.
I was, yeah, literally.
So tell us a little bit about where you've come, about your business.
Sure. So my family's company, my company is Mid-Atlantic Packaging Company. We have been in business. It'll be 45 years in January. So 44 years. I am second generation. So my parents, Herb and Kim, they founded the company and got married all within a couple of weeks of each other in the 80s. And a couple of years later, I was born. So the business was already there in existence when I was born. And a year or two later, after they started the company, my dad's brother, Don, my uncle Don, he became the third partner. And so I grew up and sitting at family meals, naturally hearing my parents talk about the business. And when they had company crab feasts or different events, I would go and be a part of it. In high school, I had, and probably before high school actually, those projects or summer jobs here at the packaging company that were absolutely not so glamorous. But I was fortunate that it was never pushed upon us that we should be a part of the company. My parents viewed it as that was their dream, was to be entrepreneurs, and it was up to my sister and I and my cousins for us to each follow our own dreams. Mm-hmm. And with that, even though that's the case, and even though I was a teacher for a couple of years, here I am. I ended up here. I've been full-time officially for 18 years.
Wow.
And I started at the bottom and was in purchasing, customer service, and literally got to help with what packaging we ordered, seeing the trends, what was coming in, talking with customers. So our customers are and have always been independent retailers, and getting to take orders and have conversations about who they are, what is their business, what are their challenges. And that was my favorite part from the beginning in my 20s, was getting to learn about our different customers. Mm-hmm. And so 18 years later, I am the CEO here at Mid-Atlantic Packaging. And it's been 4 years since I took over the company.
Mhm.
And I love what I do. So when I get excited and passionate about things, it really comes from like my core. I joke and say that I'm a packaging nerd and that my goal is to create more packaging nerds. And everything you see behind me, if you can see behind me, this is my world. And I believe very much in entrepreneurial spirit and the importance of packaging
Yeah.
for independent retailers and how it does complete the brand. It helps to make
Oh,
the
sure it
brands that
does.
you remember, the iconic brands, the people that you want, the repeat customers that you go like for the businesses you might support as well.
Mhm.
The packaging matters.
Matters. Yeah, we're going to talk about that for sure. The other interesting thing, besides being a self-proclaimed packaging nerd, which I just love because I say that all the time about how I'm like a consumer behavior packaging nerd, and
Yeah.
I mean a consumer behavior nerd, and I a numbers nerd, all of that. But you've also been named CEO of the Year. Oh my goodness! And you speak at industry conferences all the time about that's where I've met you, and
Yes.
about how people are overlooking this. And so I'm so grateful to be able to talk to you. Tell me really quick about the CEO of the Year award.
So I am from a teacher background as part of it, and then plus the push that when I decided that this was what I wanted to do with my future, my parents said that is awesome, like, and they mentored me. My mom mentored me for 5 years before I took
Mhm.
over as COO when she retired. But outside of that, they also pushed me to to be in different business groups outside
Mm.
of the company to be able to learn. And once I became CEO, I became part of a group called that's through the CEO school with Sanira Madani. And she now is my mentor. And I joined that group and I'm in a couple different groups like that because it's so important for me as a business owner to continue to be learning
Mhm.
and to be learning not just from my industry, but from what are other industries, what are other business owners running different style businesses, what's working for them. And maybe is that something that could work for me? And that's what got me into getting to know so many people, the speaking, and that is how I was then recommended put in for the CEO of the Year award was based off of all the work that I'm putting in being second generation,
Yeah, right.
and that definitely meant a lot to me because I get to know so many incredible
Mhm.
entrepreneurs
Mhm.
and CEOs, and there's so many out there that are doing amazing things.
And there's just something about being in environments like that with people that are thinking bigger that is such a huge support to you. It's the reason why we have our own mastermind and how
Yes,
we do
correct.
coaching and consulting. We get everybody together a couple times a year and it's so powerful. And then on monthly calls and stuff, it's
Yes. So
incredible how it
yeah,
really
so for
does
all
change.
your listeners, if you're not in like working in a group with Kathy or you're not in some way of stretching yourself and learning, definitely do that because that is something that has absolutely pushed me and allowed me to grow in my ceiling to continue to rise with what is
Mhm.
possible. And not just for myself, but also, for example, like all of like the retail owners, what
Yeah.
is, for example, like what is truly possible out
Well, and it's interesting because in my store, obviously, I talk to so many different packaging people and all this stuff, and so many vendors, and you can tell that you're different just from talking to you. I really respect and honor that, and I'm so grateful that you're here as our official packaging expert now. And we're going to have her back to talk about trends, y'all. This is going to be great. I'm really excited about our relationship, Julie. Julie, as you were being mentored by your mom and really getting ready to take over the CEO position, what did you see that perhaps your parents weren't doing, or what did you realize that they were perhaps missing that you really wanted to change?
One component of that was obviously knowing your numbers is super important.
Hmm.
So, no matter what business you have, knowing your numbers and where that is going. So, that is key. That is a foundation that my mom taught me. With that, though, is always when you've been in business for as long as we have, you have to be able to pivot
Hmm.
and you have to be able to identify what's up and coming and not get stuck. Because if you get stuck in what was working or the past and, well, this is always how you did it, then it is going to be harder for you to stay in business for a long time
Yeah.
because things change. So it's not necessarily that there was something that I saw that I wanted to change in the company. It was just that as I've seen the world changing from a younger lens with social media, with PR, those were areas that my parents really did not lean into and they weren't really comfortable doing. So something like me speaking, me being on podcasts, those are areas that are brand new to Mid-Atlantic Packaging.
Mm-hmm.
So even just talking about receiving the CEO of the Year award, those were areas that we just in the past didn't focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And in today's world with social media, with how it's so easy for people to find different businesses just by looking online, it's
Mm-hmm.
really important to make sure that people know you and know your company. And those, it's just that some things just matter differently to the
Mm-hmm.
consumer now
For
than it used to
sure.
be.
For
Yeah.
sure. I can really remember how the way that we always looked at packaging was just really from a logistics standpoint and a cost center, like how much was our packaging and everything. Whereas now it's much more of a brand moment. And then it's certainly than I was, I think, with your parents. And,
Yes. And
you
that
know,
has shifted tremendously in our business as
mhm,
far as we also are a stocking distributor. So we have plain stock inventory of ribbon, shred, bows, everything right in our warehouse. And when I first came onto the company 18 years ago, that was the majority of our business was based off of plain stock. And now the complete opposite has happened. It's flipped, where the majority of what we sell is custom branded packaging. So
mhm,
that
mhm.
shift over 18 years, especially the past like eight years or so.
For sure. Tell me the story about the note you got when you were a new mom. What would tell us about that?
When I was a new mom, my daughter was 3 months old and she was having a lot of skin sensitivity, and diapers were making her break out no matter how often I was changing them. And I had a girlfriend that pointed me in the direction of trying cloth diapers. And there was not a place, I live in Delaware, there was not a store local that I could get things from. So I started ordering from a little boutique like in North Carolina. And I remember my first order, and there's nothing glamorous about diapers.
No.
So when that package came in, and I was, as a mom with little kids, it's exhausting. And I got the package and I opened it out of the mailer, and the package was wrapped like in a bag with raffia. And then when I opened it up, it had a little note just thanking me for supporting their small biz. And that really lifted me up in a time that was rather exhausting and challenging,
Mhm.
because that experience of like ungift, it was a gift, even though it wasn't. And then that thank you and knowing my purchase was making a difference for somebody else.
Mhm.
And so my youngest daughter, who that was for, she's now 13. And I still remember that when she was 3 months old.
That is incredible. But packaging can do that. I love this. I was sharing with this before you went on about this Lululemon bag. I mean, you think about packaging, Lululemon really, with this package, introduced a whole new package, really, a whole new bag. And then, like, people use it for lunch bags. It was really it had to have been one of the first reusable bags, too, wasn't it, probably?
That like really hit the market by storm.
Yeah.
Like I know like my teenage daughters use that to carry their things in.
Yeah.
So it
Everything.
like is a perfect example of, like you said, like how people were reusing it everywhere.
And I have no idea what I was ever in this bag. Like, I don't even remember what I got. But I love how this one says breathe deeply on it. For those of you that aren't watching this on YouTube, why aren't you, first of all? Secondly, the Lululemon bag with all these sayings on it. And I don't even have any idea how old this is. I know it's from Christmas because it's part of their seasonal gold and white pack. Why can't I think of the branding? But it's just, how about this one too? Replace the word try with will and watch the magic happen. It really has left an impact on me, that one bag. It's really amazing. But I don't want people to shut down thinking, yeah, Lululemon, fabulous. But like, I don't have the money to do something like that. I can't afford that. I mean, what do you say to that independent retailer?
I really like to think of packaging and the process in three pillars. So depending on where you are in your journey with your business, and I know that you speak with them a lot about profitability.
Mm-hmm.
and like spending within your means. And that is vital for any business to stay in business and be successful. And so I like to think of packaging in three pillars based off of where you are. So like the first pillar is if you for plain is plain stock, and maybe like you can't get branded packaging yet. However, you do have brand colors, or you have a theme that supports your business. And so you can get the bag or the tissue paper that is within your brand colors or the feeling, the vibes of your store, so
Mm-hmm.
that it's still recognizable that it comes from your store. And then the next pillar is where most of what you still get might be plain stock. However, you have a piece or two that you throw in that is branded. So maybe it is a bag that is branded and it has your logo on it. Maybe it's custom tissue that you can use because you have a retail store and you have an e-commerce business. So the custom tissue you can use in your store, and you can also use it to wrap everything in when you mail it out to your customers. So no matter
Mm-hmm.
what, they get that branded experience, that personal experience from you, no matter which type of business you own. And then the third pillar is where you get a fully customized branded look. And so the bag is fully from the front to the sides to maybe even the inside is completely customized for your store or for your business. That might go with also having boxes that are branded, the tissue. So it's more of that complete package in a branded, where everything almost is branded look.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing based off of your volume and your budget, then what do you want the customer experience to be? If you
What you want
sell
them
a
to feel.
high
It's also
end,
about what you want them to feel, right? I mean, because
correct. Yes.
that's the point of it too.
Yeah, so the whole point is like, so with each of those pillars, at the end of the day, your goal is still the same. It
Mm-hmm.
is that you want your customers to become repeat customers, and you want your business to be based off of, we talk about retail therapy, and like it
Mm-hmm.
is proven like buying is an emotional experience. So you as a business owner want to lean into that. And part
Mm-hmm.
of that is your whole brand, which also is about the packaging that your products
For sure.
go in, or what they're walking out the door with, is that full, like, how does it make your customer feel? And if you sell like a high end product in your store, you want your packaging to match that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're eco-friendly in your store and everything you sell is eco-friendly, well, you need to make sure that your packaging is also supports
Mm-hmm.
that, but that if somebody gets a gift and it comes in a certain bag, they get excited because they're like, yes, I'm so excited because this is my favorite store. Like that happens to me. Or when somebody starts to unwrap it and they see, that sticker, that branded sticker that has sealed the tissue paper, and you're like, yes, I know I'm going to love this because this is from my favorite store. And
Mm-hmm.
you want to create that. And if you're spending money on packaging anyways, why not use it to your advantage? Use it as part of your marketing,
Mm-hmm.
that walking billboard, and use it to lean into that customer experience and those customer emotions that aid repeat customers
Right.
and people sharing with their friends and family your business because of how your brand makes them feel.
Right. I had a kids lifestyle store. That was the store that we had. And that was what Duck Duck Goose was. And we like just lived to hear was when customers would say that they were at a baby shower or at a birthday party and that they saw things in our bag. And, like that right away, people recognized what it was. And it really matters. It lives on. That packaging lives on much longer than you think it does. And it communicates so much. Nothing against that. Nothing against that at all. But is that truly your brand, or is it just the easiest thing and that's why you're doing it? Tell everybody about the stranger test that you have. I love this idea.
The stranger test is perfect and super important and easy to do, and it's free. And what that is as the owner or as the manager of the store, I want you to walk in like you're a first time customer and walk around the store and get to experience what does it feel like as a customer? What are your impressions of how your store looks? Does somebody greet you when you come in? Or what is that feeling when you walk in? And as you're walking around, as you're purchasing things and you check out, and how that person is interacting with you, or what do they do with the products that you purchase? Do they wrap them in tissue and put them in a pretty bag, or is it in a plain craft shopping bag? Like, just what is the full experience? And walk out of the door and take that bag home with you. And in the evening, then you want to act like you're still that customer and pull everything out of the bag or the box, and just take note on how does it make you feel, and then compare that with what is your goal as a company when you created your brand, like your business. Even if you didn't go about and saying like, yes, we've created a brand, whether you know it or not, if you have customers, you have a brand. It's whatever their perception is. And so, what kind of experience and brand do you envision and do you strive for your business? And based off of the stranger test, how did you stack up? Are there areas that you didn't really quite hit the mark? And so, those are the areas you're going to tackle. Or is it that you're like, wow, overall, this was great. I feel really good about this. I just want to make sure that I'm thinking about this when we go into preparing for the fall and the holiday season.
Yeah.
So, the stranger test is an incredible way to just take a step back. I think it's vitally important to take a step back and put yourself in your customer's shoes. And what do you observe from their eyes?
Right. What do you see that they see? I love that. One of the things we tell new customers, new clients of ours to try is to go onto Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and just tell people that, listen, I am doing a marketing challenge right now. Could you describe our store in 3 words? Just whatever the first 3 words are to come to mind. And it is almost always one of the most highly engaged posts that you can have, because you can't believe all the things that people say. There's so much to learn about it. And it's fascinating to see how people see your business from the outside. Because to your point, you do have a brand, you have created a world for sure, whether you know it or not. The other thing,
it can be intimidating. Sorry. It can also be intimidating to put yourself out there and ask. But like you're saying, like as you just shared, and as I'm sharing, like it's really important because of what you'll get in return from leaning into that.
Yes, it really is. The one other thing I would suggest about it is you do e-commerce. You should also order something from your business and see how it comes to your house and how you feel about it. Because you shared about a store you bought from and like how you loved their packaging from their store, but when you got their box, look.
It was just the items were in a clear plastic poly bag thrown into a craft corrugated box, and that was it. And I was like, oh, I just spent the same amount of money on this product that really doesn't feel like it should have cost that amount of money. And that's also a great thing about packaging too, is it's lots of studies have been done with that. It does increase with the right packaging. It does increase the perceived value of the product that someone is purchasing based off of the packaging that it is in.
Absolutely.
And so I can say when I went into the store and left with those items wrapped in tissue paper and in a nice, like a pretty bag, because is a women's store. So it is in, this pretty elegant bag. That feeling when I left was very different than when it came to my house. And it was just it just felt like, it was just like tossed in there and it didn't feel the same.
Right.
And so that's important to recognize. And like when those things happen to yourself too, to make sure, okay, let me think about this and how can I apply this to my own store, my own business.
Right. Well, and I love how you took us through those pillars, because there's so many different budget ways that you can also change your packaging up, because I know that's something I never thought about doing as much. What I love about it is it makes you aware of the packaging also. So for example, it focuses the customer's attention also on your packaging when it changes up. So I mentioned how I knew that this was a Christmas bag from Lululemon because of the gold ink on it. I had just bought something at Nordstrom's for their anniversary sale, and it's also their 125 years. And so they did a totally different bag and then used ribbon as the handle, which is also different for them. And the thing is that I don't want you to hear this and think, oh yeah, Lululemon, oh yeah, Nordstrom. I mean, sure. But what I loved about some of the examples that Julie showed me, because we were talking about this before we started, is that it's actually so easy to do by just changing a few components of the packaging to make it look different, either the ink or the tissue paper, like you said. I mean, it's so simple to seasonally change your packaging, isn't it?
Yes, it truly is. Whether it's changing the color of your tissue paper, or maybe during different seasons, like maybe during the holidays, you have different tissue that
Mm-hmm.
come, or we have a production team here at Mid Atlantic Packaging where we hot stamp and ink print bags and boxes. And it could be as simple as you already have the plate that is for it. And so during the summer, you have one color bag that is hot stamped with the same plate. And then in the holiday season, you change it up to a different color bag or a different color foil,
Mm-hmm.
or a different color ink.
Mm-hmm.
So there's easy ways that you can spice it up without it adding a lot of additional expense to your business. And we have some people that, even if it's the ribbon color, or there's just so many different simple pieces that you can do
Mm-hmm.
to give a little bit of that pick me up for the different seasons.
Well, we didn't even discuss about how so many people gift wrap for free. And frankly, your packaging can be your gift wrapping. So you can also save money and make a bigger impact by looking at your packaging as gift wrap also, can't you?
Yes, 100%. That is, especially, I know that a lot of independent retailers worry about the big box stores or about Amazon. And there's so many things that the power is for the independent retailers.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, you mentioned about like the gift wrapping or giving things to somebody so that when they walk out, they can just take it and give it as a gift. And that is something that only independent retailers can do, and they do well. And that can be part of that experience of
Mm-hmm.
your business, is knowing that when you go in and you're purchasing something that's for a gift for somebody, that when you leave that store, you know that it is good to go for you to be able to hand it as a gift,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's for the holidays or it's a birthday or an anniversary. And that is super powerful because that's also that brand recognition and people getting excited. Like, yes, like even with gift wrap, it might be that you're just known for like fun themes of gift wrap, or your gift wrap is a certain color. And so when people get a gift and they see that fun print that's just a stock design but that you always use, or that certain color, they're like, yes, I know where this gift came from.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like for your store, when people take it to as a gift and people being excited because it's something from your business.
Right. Yes, that's great. Hey, a side note, if they were going to be planning holiday packaging, how much advance notice do you need for it?
For our in-house production team, where we hot stamp and ink print, we generally have a 2 to 3 week lead time
Oh, that's
once it's
all. Wow.
approved. Yeah, from approval. And then for repeat orders, it's that general 2 to 3 weeks. During the fall season, once we get into October, November, it is definitely going to be most likely that 3 weeks, sometimes maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's for those products, it's very reasonable. And actually, we're just about to be launching where we'll be doing custom ribbon in-house as well. And we're super excited about that. And that will be the same type of lead times.
So, Julie, could you give us 3 things that a store owner can do this week about packaging? Not in 3 months, but like right now, what could she do?
One, the first step would be to do the stranger test. So definitely get that scheduled in your day. And so that would be an easy step, because then you can identify, like, how are you doing? Like, what is your brand, and through the eyes of a potential customer, where are you at? So that would be the first step. A second step would be that if you...
Actually, let me interrupt you and say that you actually said 2 steps in that first thing, because doing the stranger test is one. But then the second thing is that you should be identifying that emotion that you want them to feel. Like, how did you feel? But what do you want them to feel when they open it, right?
Yes. And the last step is then, okay, based off of is your packaging making that feeling happen or not?
Mhm.
If it is, that is awesome. If it's not, then and then you're kind of at a loss at what to do, then I am offering a free consultation, a 15-minute packaging consultation with myself or one of my amazing team members, just to talk about like, what is your packaging now? What from the stranger test or from what you have been wanting to do for your store, what is the feeling, the emotion, the identity that you want to accomplish with your packaging? And for us to be able to help you with accomplishing that, to take a little bit of that stress off of your own shoulders, because I know packaging can be very overwhelming. And that is where we pride ourselves in stepping in to help lessen that burden for retailers, is for us to help handle that and help you make those decisions. So those would be 3 easy things that you could do. And there's no expense to the initial process. And just to then and be able to come up with a game plan.
Yeah, and to really be able to make a difference. And the other thing that I want you guys to know that Julia said is if you mentioned to her that you heard about her on the Richer Retailer podcast, you also get a free branding playbook, which is something that everyone could use an extra pair of eyes on. I mean, they're the experts at this. They do this for a living. And so you'll get the concrete ways of making sure that that feeling that you've identified that you want your customers to feel, it'll show you exactly how to do that. So thank you so much for doing that for everyone. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Well, so Julie, we always end our episodes with what we call a milli moment. And so a milli is what we call our $1 million store owners here on the show. And a milli moment is that time in your journey when you achieved something that felt extraordinary, like something that made you just stop and, say, gosh, I actually did that. It doesn't have to be about hitting a number. It's really any sort of breakthrough or realization or moment of pride or joy that really shaped who you are in your business. So what was your milli moment, Julie, and how did it impact your journey?
One of my milli moments in my journey is when part of my job was customer service. So answering the phones. And I answered the phone and it was a brand new customer on the phone and she needed help with doing her branded packaging. And so we started communicating and then we started communicating via email and I helped her with coming up with her theme and the look she wanted for her holiday packaging for her store in New York City. And we just hit it off and I had so much fun doing it. And years later, she's still our customer and she still does amazing holiday packaging theme each year. She changes it. But that was my milli moment from the standpoint of, oh, I can do this. How much fun is it to do this with somebody? And also those connections that you build along the journey. And that was definitely one of the highlights of my journey of knowing like, hey, this is what I want to do.
Oh, that's wonderful, Julie. It's right. It's all about relationships. And I think that's what makes Mid-Atlantic packaging different. It really does. It really is. You really live that out. Speaking of which, before we go, can you tell people how they can find you and where do you do your best work? Where do you want people to follow you?
So definitely you can find us on our website, which is midatlanticpackaging.com. And then we also are on Instagram, Facebook. Definitely on Instagram, we share a lot of the work we do, but also fun content, inspirational things. So you can find us there. And then I personally am on LinkedIn. And I would love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. You are welcome to ask me any questions on there or on Instagram as well. But those are the main places that we live.
We'll put all that. That's great. Well, and we'll put all of that in the show notes so that you can find that easily and you can get access to her free 15-minute call that she offered for all of you. Because often it's just a few quick things that can have such a huge impact on your packaging. And what I want you to walk away from this is knowing that packaging is such a critical part of defining your world. It's part of a much bigger system, the system that makes people know and feel like they belong in your store. It's the way you thank them. It's the music they hear when you're in the store, and it's your packaging. It's the way they feel when they walk out. I started this by saying that it's really your last connection with them is your packaging, is what they're holding in their hand, right? That's your magnetic world building system at work. If you want to build that system intentionally, it's one of our 5 core systems of our Richer Retailer method. And if you want a real playbook for putting this all together, because packaging is a critical part of it, it's what we do in our game plan calls. And the link to that is in the show notes. So if you want to take this to the next level, we'd be honored to chat with you about that. We'd love to help you. And listen, y'all, if you loved this episode and if you haven't hit that follow button yet, oh my gosh, take 2 seconds and do it right now, please. And then you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're Retail Mavens everywhere, and we'd love to see you there. Oh, thank you so much, Julie. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk to you, and we're going to have you back.
Thank you for having me, Kathy. I enjoyed it. I enjoy our conversations always, and I look forward to coming back.
Thank you. All right, everybody, know that you are astonishingly fabulous, if no one's told you that yet today, and you are loved. Have a great day. Happy Richer Retailing. Bye-bye, everyone.